Greetings from the home office of the Washington State Golf Association. This is our inaugural podcast. Here we have Scotty Crothmell, the Senior Director of Rules and Competition for the WSGA. We have Derek Weidman, the Manager of Rules and Competition, and also Jonathan Brodeen, the Assistant Manager of Rules and Competition. Good day, gentlemen. It is the off season. I already see some big smiles on your faces, so I know it's been a long season, but now is a good time of the year. So for those of us who don't know who we are, collectively, along with these folks, we have Chris Junquist here in the office, who is the administrative assistant. She is on vacation, but we have lots to come from her, I'm sure, in the future, as she loves to talk. So our primary focus of this new adventure in podcasting is to keep everybody up to date and what's going on in the game of golf. Today, in particular, we're going to talk about recently announced WSGA Players of the Year, who were officially announced at the October Championship Committee meeting. The second item on the agenda today is we're going to answer some rules questions that have been submitted to our department recently, and we're going to try to clarify them. And particularly, there's been an announcement recently by the USGA and the R&A about the pending banning of the anchoring putter, aka the belly putter. Is that right?
I think that's set to be announced sometime next month, so a lot of people are anxiously awaiting what that might entail.
Sometime in December. Even if they announce it in December, I mean, we're getting ahead of the game here, but if they announce it in December, when will this take effect? Probably not for a while.
It sounds like for amateurs, nothing could take effect before January 1, 2016. Looks like the PGA Tour, they can impose this a little sooner if they wish, but for the amateurs out there, nothing in the near future. You still have some time to use your putter, so we'll see.
The third item, to just lay some groundwork before we get too far into the conversation here, is, Scotty, can you just give a little bit of background on the WSGA Championship Department and who we are, what we do, and what's coming up for the year?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we're in the off season, which seems to shrink more and more each year, but the next couple months, our main focus is kind of wrapping up and getting all new sites for next year, which is a big task. We start the year in January with 4 Winter Series events, one a month, January through April. It's been real popular the last few years, kind of in the wintertime, just a little casual competition to get people out and playing. And then once we get into our championship season in May through October, we conduct 9 different championships and crown 14 different champions. And we also have 10 USGA qualifiers mixed in there. So it's a busy year. Everything's a little different in length and format. Our events are open to men and women of all abilities. A lot of people think that they have to be a scratch golfer or a low handicapper to play, and that's definitely not the case. A lot of our events are open to max handicaps, so 36 for men and 40 for women. It's definitely something for everyone.
What are some of the sites for 2013 kind of coming up? I know you have to spend a lot of time selecting sites for the upcoming championships. There's a lot that goes into what's coming up for 2013 so far.
Well, we've got some real exciting ones. Well, one just announced today, we'll mention that maybe last, but a couple that have been confirmed recently that are up on the website. The Women's Best Ball Championship will be at Fircrest Golf Club next year, a great course. They're in the Tacoma area.
That's the first time something's been held at Fircrest in a while, yeah?
In quite a while, about 8 or 9 years, so we're excited to get back there. The Washington State Men's and Women's Mid-Amateur Championship up at Rope Rider at Suncadia Resort. It's been a real popular course, the newest of their trio of courses, and very playable for all abilities, and kind of set it up as hard as you want or as easy as you want.
For a championship like that, how would you set that up?
It depends a little bit on conditions. The ball goes pretty far up there. It's usually firm and fast. A lot of it would depend on the wind. As you know, it can get pretty windy up there, but fairways are wide, a lot wider than the other 2 golf courses, and the greens are big. So another one that we're real excited about this year will be the Men's and Women's Member Club Team Championship up at Salish Cliffs. New golf course up in Shelton. Heard a lot of great things about it. And to get them on board to host this championship, I think we should have a real strong turnout.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about it. I'd like to get out there and play it myself.
A little staff outing is due in the coming weeks. I've seen a lot of photos and a lot of other people's experiences up there, but it'd be nice for us to get up there and see it and start to think about how we might set that up for the championship as well. Another good one at the end of the year will be the Men's Senior and Super Senior Championship up at Everett Golf and Country Club. Another club that's been real supportive of the associations in the past, and a great championship layout for a great event up there. And then just recently, we actually announced it, or confirmed it this morning. It hasn't been announced yet. the Men's Amateur Championship next year at Chambers Bay. That'll be a little different next year. We've changed the format a little bit. Again, this hasn't been announced yet either. It'll now be a 54-hole championship instead of 72. It'll be a 120-player field to start, which is a little lower than the 168 that players are used to. Still with a 36-hole cut to the low 60 players and ties. And to be eligible for that, there'll be an exemption list that we'll be coming out with here shortly, where staff is working on putting that together. Probably be about 40 or 50% of the field that will be on exemptions and can sign up for the championship. Anyone else that is not on the exempt list will need to sign up for one of two qualifiers. We'll do one on the west side of the state here in the Seattle area, and one on the east side of the state, either probably in the Tri-Cities area or over in Spokane. Those will be one-day qualifiers to fill the remaining field. So
why the change in format for this?
Partially it was, this championships, we haven't filled it. We haven't gotten the full field of 168 recently. We really wanted to target some real top-of-the-line clubs. And, being a 72-hole championship, it's just a lot for a private club or, even a public facility that relies on that daily revenue to host this. We asked that the club host this.
Especially during the summertime.
During the summertime in June, prime time. So 54 holes, a little smaller field, but we think we'll get a stronger field. And with the qualifying, it's still open to anyone with an 8.4 handicap index or less. They can qualify.
Well, speaking of course setup opportunities, there's a lot at Chambers Bay for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Another course excited to see, Tom. We were just talking a little bit. You were out there yesterday, so you probably have a little more insight. But with all the new changes in preparation for the Open, this is the Chambers Bay was real excited to host this and kind of as a test run to see what the golf course can do since the changes they put in after the U.S. Amateur in 2010.
Very good. Well, defending champion is Chris Williams, currently the #1 ranked amateur in the world.
Hopefully Chris will be back to defend, and I'm sure he's got some teammates up there that with a site like Chambers Bay, they'll be there as well. And so that's kind of where we're at on site selection. We still have a few to get. Also, USGA qualifiers, a lot of those are done. You can look on the website as we finalize those. But it's shaping up to be, I think, a special year next year.
Just going down the list here of WSGA Players of the Year for 2012. First one, Chris Williams.
Yeah, you mentioned him there, the reigning Washington State Men's Amateur Player of the Year. What an awesome year he had. You mentioned he was World Amateur ranked #1. Winning the Western Amateur back in Illinois. Not only did he win the match play championship proper, he was the qualifying medalist. He also played in the World Team Amateur, and he was a runner-up individual in that. That was a team of 3 selected in the U.S.
Didn't he win this award last year?
He did.
This is an interesting year because you look at a guy like Carl Johnson and the year he had, and just about any other year he'd probably be the Player of the Year, but runner-up at the PNGA Am. And
But he's shooting the qualifying round stroke play. Is that 63?
63. Yep.
It's the course record.
Course record at Wine Valley.
Women's Player of the Year, Erin Lee.
What can you say about Erin? She's won this 4 times. She's won the Junior Player of the Year twice.
At least. I have to look. She's won so many of these, it's tough to keep track.
Playing out of UCLA, Erin's the standard for women's amateur golf right now. She was NCAA All-American. She was also a member of the World Team Amateur. It's quite an honor to have both of our WSGA Players of the Year make those teams.
Women's Mid-Amateur Player of the Year, Leslie Folsom.
Great year for Leslie. This was our inaugural Mid-Am Player of the Year. So Leslie and Tom took home those honors. Leslie won the Washington State Mid-Amateur Championship and then was runner-up in the Pacific Northwest Women's Mid-Amateur Championship up at Bear Mountain in Victoria this year. So 2 great events there, and then also won the best ball, their 8th title there with Jane Harris to start off the year. That's a non-point event, but definitely an event that she's dominated.
To see Leslie win this award as an inaugural mid-amateur, I think it's a great test to play in this year. She had a great year.
So, speaking of the inaugural Mid-Amateur Players of the Year, the decision to start that this year was because of the number of good players who we felt should be recognized somehow, or
It was actually brought up to the PNGA Championship Committee just kind of asking why that wasn't a segment that we recognized, and it was well received and kind of unanimous decision that that's something that we should add with all the mid-amateur championships out there that we run. And it's just like Derek mentioned, it's just a kind of a, you have someone like Leslie that has that incredible year, and it kind of goes unnoticed in terms of player of the year, because someone like Aaron playing at the college level, it's a whole different game. So to add this and to be able to recognize Leslie for just a remarkable year, and same on the men's side with Tom, I just really kind of filled that void.
And speaking of Tom, took home the honors for the men's mid-amateur and also the senior men's player of the year.
He's made a clean sweep of the PNGA Senior Amateur and the PNGA Mid-Amateur, as well as the Washington State Senior Amateur and Washington State Mid-Amateur. Along with that, he had the Senior Washington Open runner-up. He was a quarterfinalist at the PNGA Master 40, and he also won the Washington State Senior Men's Player of the Year. What can you say about Tom? He won just about everything he entered this year.
Interestingly enough, he's in the market for a new set of clubs right now.
That's right.
A lot of people are excited to see what that's going to do to his game.
He needs to work on his game, I guess. Huh? So, Senior Women's Player of the Year, Yasui Elkins. I met her for the first time at the Senior Women's Amateur there at Rainier.
That's right. Yeah, Yasui is a woman of few words, but I'll tell you what, she's always got a smile on her face, and she's quite a treat to be around and quite a deserving champion there. She won the Washington State Senior Women's Amateur at Rainier, like you said, and earlier in the year at the home course, she won the Washington State Senior Women's Champion of Champions. And along with that, she won the Tacoma Women's Golf Association Championship.
She seems to always be in contention come the final round.
Nothing seems to rattle her too much. I remember from the championship there at the Rainier, there was some sort of rules question about penalty that she had taken, and she just took it in stride. It was no big deal. I made a mistake, she said, and she went out the next day and won the tournament.
That's right, yeah. She marked her golf ball, and when she replaced it after addressing it, the ball moved, and that's part of the rules change in 18-2, which after address, the ball moved, so unfortunately it was a one-stroke penalty to her, and she replaced the ball. Didn't affect her. She kind of took it in stride, like you said, and went on and won the championship.
Junior Girls Player of the Year, Jordan Ferreira of University Place. Pretty good year.
Yeah, really great year. Jordan is a two-time winner of the Washington State Junior Girls Player of the Year. She won the PNGA Junior Girls Championship. She was also the qualifying medalist there, gold medalist. She was USGA Junior Girls Round of 64. Made a great showing there. She's a great champion. She's going to go to Notre Dame and play next year after she finishes up her last year of high school.
And Junior Boys, Frank Garber of Kirkland, Washington. Is this his first year of winning this particular title, yes?
Yeah, that's correct. Frank's a great young player. I got an opportunity to sit with him and his family at our Player of the Year banquet and awards ceremony, and what a gracious champion. Funny note about Frank and his family, his dad Rick won the Washington State Amateur back in 1985. That's right.
Okay, let's get to the rules segment here. Before we get any questions or any other particulars, I thought we'd maybe touch on again this belly putter and long putter situation. That's looming on the horizon here pretty quick because of the USGA's and R&A's movement on this. I know that a couple weeks ago in Golf Week magazine, it was the cover story about a 12-page article about this, and it's going to be on everybody's mind, I think, in the next 6 months or so. Let's say they make a decision or come out with a decision in December. What does this do going into 2013 for me, a 15 handicapper? What is it going to mean to me?
Well, fortunately, it won't mean anything to you going into next year. The earliest you'd have to worry about it, I'm worried about it, is 2016. I love my belly putter. So, yeah, a lot of people, this has brought a lot of people back to the game. A lot of, senior players with the yips, middle-aged players, there's even young players out there using them right now. But so I think that's the concern, is from an amateur side, is that this has brought a lot of people back to the game, and now, making it illegal would maybe have an adverse effect on that.
When they talk about banning anchoring, they're not banning the long putters and the belly putters themselves. It's just the actual anchoring to the body of those clubs. So you're still able to play with them.
Do you think there's going to be some resistance to this ruling by anybody? Is anyone going to challenge it somehow? I don't know how they would, but
Sounds like the tour's already got some players kind of gathering together, threatening to do so. I don't know how they would go about that, but I think they want to put up a fight as much as they can.
I heard Adam Scott say that, he doesn't see St. Andrews changing their greens because of these belly putters or long putters, but they have these guys teeing off behind walls now because they hit it so far.
Like Derek said, they're not gonna outlaw the length of the putter, so maybe we should give out Tom Phillips' phone number and people could give him a call, learn how to putt side saddle.
Yeah, do the side saddle.
So the rules of golf book, this changes every 4 years, is that correct?
Correct.
So the most recent one was 2012, came out with a new edition. So the next one wouldn't come out until 2016. Is that when any change that came out in the next 6 weeks, whatever it may be, it really wouldn't go into the rules of golf book until 2016?
That's right. That's like Scotty said, the PGA Tour can kind of make a call and put it into effect. As far as the rules of golf, the change wouldn't go into effect until 2016.
Similar to the groove changes that went into effect 2010 on tour, won't take effect for amateurs necessarily until 2024. So this could be a kind of a two-part situation based on the difference between the pro level and the amateur level. So nothing to get probably too worried about yet at this point, but it will be interesting to see what the statement is coming up.
Okay. I think that's probably how much time we have for today.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks,
and,
Tom.
The next podcast will come in soon, and I think we're going to have a conversation with WSGA Executive Director Troy Andrew.
Remember to send your questions in to championships@thewsga.org or give us a call at 1-800-643-6410.
Thanks, Garrett. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for listening.